Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii, 1972 film directed by Adrian Maben that has just now had a 4K restoration re-release in theaters, which I had a chance to catch in an IMAX theater. It's a mix between a concert film with Pink Floyd staging a famous show to an empty audience at the ruins of the ancient Pompeii Amphitheater, and a documentary film showing interviews with the band members and behind the scenes footage of them working on the legendary album The Dark Side of the Moon. Although, as I've just found out now, most of the scenes where they record the music for that, like Gilmour's non existent solo for Brain Damage or the piano line for Us and Them, have been staged purely for the film, as at that time the record was already almost done and they haven't actually been recording anything new. Anyway, it was a fantastic experience to see this film on a huge screen with proper loud sound system, and be able to appreciate the music that I've loved for so many years now. I will say though, as the film was beginning with the first part of Echoes, I thought to myself, shit, I wish I did take my fiance with me to see this. Maybe this would finally convince her and show her and explain to her what's so great about this particular band. But then as it went on, I was reminded of what's actually in the film. And I thought, nah, actually, this might not be the best entry point. In other words, I think it's a fantastic film if you're already a Pink Floyd fan. If you know their music, know what the band was about, preferably understand its history and career trajectory, then you'll really appreciate it. But if you're a casual, I think you won't get that much out of it. One, because the documentary sections are not actually all that informative about the band itself. They are fascinating for showing some of the inside look into their thinking process and the music process and the approach to electronic equipment, and also fill in some great gaps when you have the context, like how now ironic it seems that that comment about the general lack of infighting between the band members, or the point about controlling technology and not letting it control you, or the predictions about rock and roll not actually dying anytime soon, which still rings true 50 years later. And then when it comes to the pure music, the selection of songs played at Pompeii and in the Paris studio is, let's say, very particular. So you have Echoes, sure, but you also have A Saucer Full of Secrets, where Gilmour is abusing his guitar in the sand and Waters is bashing on the cymbals, and Wright is putting his entire arms on the keyboards for a good 5 minutes before something resembling music and the organ section finally gets born out of the noise. Or you have Careful with the Axe, Eugene, where Roger Waters is being possessed by a demon and is making all these weird sounds. To put it bluntly, some parts of those songs can sound like straight up noise, and only after a time music becomes born out of it, which again to me was super interesting considering the point in time at which this was recorded. The band was coming out of its early psychedelic roots and albums and some of the more experimental stuff. They were figuring out their sound going forward and really testing out the limits of modern equipment to incorporate that in the recordings. And right after this movie gets made, they go on the run of albums, which is The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and The Wall. Fuck me, what an unbelievable run of four all-time classics, one after another. I dare you to find another band that has had a run comparable to this one. And you can kind of see a parallel here. Out of something resembling noise and experiment, the band ends up getting some of the most well thought out rock music in history. So again, I loved it through and through, but if you don't know shit about Pink Floyd, maybe just listen to the albums first, ease into the music, read up a little bit, and then if you're enjoying yourself, check out this film. If you just go into it cold, I think it might turn you off a bit.